Hello, Abnormal Investigations. I've got another encounter for you. This one will not be for everybody, but I'm going to make this a two-drop day. I'm going to drop this at 6, and the next one will drop at 8 o'clock, guys. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get into this one. I still remember when recalling that fateful night in rural Kansas, 1949. Our small community was shaken to its core by an unspeakable horror. As a deputy sheriff, I responded to a distress call from the Jenkin Farm. The moon hung low, casting eerie shadows across the rolling hills. Upon arrival, I found John Jenkins' lifeless body, brutally mauled beyond recognition. "It looked like something ripped him apart," Sheriff Johnson whispered, his voice trembling, "like he was grabbed, twisted, and just tore apart." Locals had whispered about a strange creature lurking in the darkness. Some claimed to have seen a towering wolf-like figure. Its eyes glowed like a wolf. While investigating, I discovered a trail of blood and some torn fabric leading into the nearby woods. Suddenly, a chilling howl pierced the night air. My heart racing, I drew my revolver. A figure emerged from the shadows, impossibly tall, with razor-sharp claws and eyes burning like embers. Its body seemed to shift between human and wolf, defying explanation. Frozen in terror, I watched as the creature vanished into the darkness. The howling ceased, leaving an unsettling silence. I couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched as I returned to my cruiser. The sheriff's voice was laced with concern as we radioed for backup. He said over the radio, "Deputy, are you okay? You sound a little spooked." I reported back to him, "I saw something, Sheriff. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't human." Static filled the line before his response. "Get back here, Deputy. We'll sort this out. No more radio communication." As I drove away from the Jenkins farm, the darkness seemed to close in around me. Every snap of a twig or hoot of an owl made me jump, even meeting the ambulance and the first responders that were on their way to take care of him. Back at the station, Sheriff Johnson briefed the arriving deputies. Their skepticism was palpable, but I knew what I had seen. The night patrols combed the woods, searching for any sign of the creature. I joined the search, driven by a mix of fear and determination to find out what I had seen. Deep in the woods, we stumbled upon an ancient abandoned mine shaft. The air around it seemed heavy. It was malevolent, and the presence for sure lingered. We all felt it. One of the deputies asked, "Do you think it's hiding in there?" And one of the other deputies whispered, "Yes." I nodded my head also, saying yes. As we cautiously entered the mine, the darkness swallowed us whole. Our flashlights cast eerie shadows on the wall as the mine lights were lit dimly down the shaft. Suddenly a low growl echoed through the tunnel. The ground trembled beneath our feet. "It's coming," I whispered to the other deputies. My voice was barely audible. The lights flickered, and the growling grew louder. We backed away, but our escape was blocked by an old collapse that had happened. We were trapped, so we waited. The creature emerged from the darkness, its eyes burning brighter with every step. It had flanked us and came in behind us. "Oh God," someone whispered. That's when the creature charged. Everything in there went bright. The screams still echo in my mind, a chilling blend of human agony and animalistic ferocity. Our pistols' reports faded into the darkness, leaving an unsettling silence as we all drew our weapons and started unloading into the creature. The creature screamed in pain, like a man and an animal at the same time. It even yelped a few times as it ran away. "Did we hit it?" a deputy whispered, his voice shaking. I shook my head and I was unsure. The darkness seemed to swirl around us, making it impossible to see. Suddenly, the mineshaft lights flickered back to life, casting an eerie glow. The sheriff yelled for all of us to get out now. Sheriff Johnson yelled it very loudly. We didn't need prompting. We sprinted out of the mine with our hearts racing. As we came out of the mine, we got about 50 yards from it when we heard gravel sliding, and we looked. The creature fell off the top of the mine back in front of the hole and ran inside of the mine, limping and putting one paw down. Every now and then you could tell he was badly injured. We got back to the station and we gathered around the radio waiting for backup. The dispatcher's voice crackled through the speaker as we were waiting for State Patrol to come and assist us. Deputies, we've received multiple reports of attacks in nearby towns. We started getting a flood of information from the state police that they had not shared with us previously. Descriptions match your suspect. That's when it got really weird. It's not just here, I whispered. This thing has a huge hunting ground. It's been attacking people all around, but it's been kept a secret. Fish and Game knew, state police knew, but we knew nothing about it. The sheriff's face set off a grin, determination. We need to contain this. We can't wait on the state boys. They're too busy covering this damn thing up. We could tell he knew that he felt what we were feeling. They were covering this damn thing up. And the sheriff said, how do we contain a monster? One of the deputies said, my brother works for the coal mine. They are blasting all the time, pulling up coal. We could get him and a few of the guys down there. We could blast this thing shut. The sheriff agreed. The deputy's brother was wakened late that night. And as we went down there, the coal mine's explosive team worked through the night, sealing the mine shaft with a thunderous blast. The ground shook beneath our feet as the entrance collapsed. I think they might have used a little more than what they needed, but it was very sufficient, as the dirt and large rocks flew into the sky, and the ground shook. In the aftermath, an unsettling silence fell over the region. Reports of attacks ceased. There was no more attacks, no more 911 calls of seeing this creature. As the investigation wrapped up, I couldn't shake the feeling that we had merely trapped the evil, maybe not defeated it, but we had stopped it. Sheriff Johnson nodded in agreement. We've bought time, but this thing's legacy will haunt these hills for generations. I retired soon after, leaving the darkness and its secrets behind. Yet on quiet nights I do hear the distant howl of a wolf, and my heart will skip a beat. And I wonder, what if? Will I end up shredded like that one guy? One evening as I was sitting on my porch, a local kid approached, and he still called me deputy, and he yelled at me, and he said, Deputy, he said, with his eyes wide open. My grandpa worked at that mine. He told me stories about a werewolf, stories. I repeated curiosity, and I asked him, I said, you're talking about the Devil's Den? He whispered back to me, yes, the Devil's Den. They say that a werewolf sleeps in there. Is that true? I looked out of the darkness, feeling a weight, and I looked at the child and I told him, I don't know what lives in there, but we better all hope it continues to sleep, because the day it comes back will merely be a day of hell for whoever it finds next, just like it was for the first man. The child looked at me and rode his bike off scared. A lot of kids still sneak up to that old mine. They do it for Halloween and just to get scared with their girlfriends, and they say they hear the howls even inside the cave to this day. I don't think it's a good idea to go up there, but it's still open and kids still know where it's at. Yeah, I agree. It's not a good idea to go up there. It's kind of like they're taunting it, or they may end up regretting that. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm enjoying all these stories coming out, and law enforcement sharing their stories, and game wardens and citizens and whoever else. And I really enjoy these, and I like sharing them. I hope you all at least got something from this. We can't say it was a great story because there was life lost, and that's always bad, especially the way that he passed away. But I want to thank everybody for listening, supporting the channel, and this is Hunter's Month, so we're always appreciative of that. And until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner, and we'll see you Saturday night on the Boots on the Ground at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time.